Arnold Classic is around the corner and RX Muscle has you covered with previews and analysis from the top minds in bodybuilding and interviews with the top competitors and personalities in the sport. It's RX Muscle's Iron Road to the Arnold, sponsored by CEDRIC Nutrition, only on rxmuscle.com.
Welcome back to Live with RX Muscle's Iron Road to the Arnold Classic, brought to you by CEDRIC Nutrition. Visit CEDRICnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and tonight's guest of the evening, he is the enigma. He is the man we've been trying to nail down, and we finally got him. He's also the winner of last week's IFBB Kevin Levrone Classic, CEDRIC MCMILLAN. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Congratulations on the big win and to start the year off in the Olympia qualification already.
Yeah, well, you know me, man. I never get caught up in feeling too big about myself or celebrating anytime, we happen to get a win or anything like that. I never been that type. It's definitely better than losing, but the main thing I do is take a look at my physique, make notes on what we did, and then especially with shows coming up, this close, try to see what we can do to try to improve everything. So, so really it wasn't no time to do nothing but just, get back to work.
Did you decide to do this Polish show at the last minute because, you said, hey, I had a bad year at the end of the year. You missed the Olympia. You were sick. We're going to talk a little bit about an injury you had in a little bit. But was this good momentum for you going into the Arnold Classic?
No, I don't even. I think momentum is bullshit. That's what people create this term momentum. Oh, I won this show. It gives me momentum. No, man, you show up. And the way it's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get compared against whoever else is there, not getting compared against your potential or compared against what somebody thinks you should look like. But really, you're supposed to get compared against people who's on stage with you, and that should just be it. But momentum is something that people invented. So if they want to call it that, that's fine. But for me, I made plans to do this show. It had to be before Christmas. It was before Christmas, I think, when Kevin reached out to me. The hard part was trying to decide, would I be able to get ready for one show and then be able to keep going into the next show. And then I know I wanted to go to Australia as well. So if I would be able to hold it, because I know the last part of the prep for me has always been the hardest, man. Once you start taking away water and sodium and stuff, it just seems like I fall apart. My body really disagrees with that process, So just wondering how everything was going to go, but I definitely wanted to try it. And Kevin Levrone was one of my idols growing up. And so it was, for me, a real honor to be able to go there and be a part of that show. And what I was looking at most importantly was get on stage and look good. That's what I wanted to try to do. Whether I win, I let that go. I let go of the hopes of winning last year when I seen, times where I thought I, was maybe good enough to win and things just didn't work out. And so now my focus is more on getting on stage, showing what I got, trying to represent what I'm here for, which is, representing an era of bodybuilding that I fell in love with, trying to honor that and trying to stand for that, So whether I win or lose during that process, it doesn't even matter anymore. Because I feel sometimes, people get caught up in winning or dying. It's either you win or nothing. But sometimes, man, when you lose, you really win. And sometimes when you win, you really lose. It's just all about where your focus is and where your heart is and where your passion is. Hopefully, one day the judges will see that you look good enough to have a victory. But even if you never make a win, or different things like that, that doesn't mean that you can't be, or that you're not a good bodybuilder. So I try not to let my worth be determined by a victory. So with that being said, I said, what is there to be afraid of with trying to go do this show, or and then move on to the next one. So we plan for it. I asked Chris if he think I could hold it. He says, well, hey, the only thing we can do is try and see what happens. So we went there, and surprisingly, it was the best I ever felt, the last few days and the few days going into and through and after the show. So leading right up into, getting ready for Ohio now, everything still feels pretty good. So, of course, we just got to try it and see what happens, from this stage forward. But, that's where we are now.
Cedric, last year at the Arnold Classic, a lot of people thought you should have won or been at least higher than fourth place. Branch Warren finished in second, beat you. You guys had a rematch in Atlantic City. Once again, a lot of people felt that, myself included, that you should have won that show. Branch beat you there. You both qualified for the Olympia, but you wound up getting sick. This is the first time you faced off against Branch Warren since that Atlantic City show. Did it feel good to get some retribution and to beat him at this show?
No, because that none of those things are any of the things that I focus on. Because you feeling like I should have won, Chris feeling like I should have won, Arnold feeling like I should have placed better than I did. When I'm able to look at pictures and look at my physique and be proud of, how I match up, then that's good enough, because there are a lot of things involved in winning a show, winning a pro show where there's money involved. There's a lot of things, that has to take place in order for you to win that show. I'm not going to get into any of that stuff, but just being careful. Look, you can look one way, but sometimes things still don't swing your way, and I accepted that, and I'm cool with that. So at the end of the day, I won't let my placing have any effect on how I feel about bodybuilding or how I feel about myself,
Very wise attitude, especially given a sport that's very subjectively judged. Now, Arnold did say something last year after your fourth place finish on the Sunday, his little Sunday breakfast that he always holds every year. He basically put it out there to the judges, hey, I don't like the direction of the sport's taking. We're not rewarding the right type of physiques. Posing and presentation is not being, I guess you could say, favored and rewarded. And I would like to see a change. And everyone was up in arms about it, and people talked about it over the course of the year. But this year at the Arnold Classic, they are going to be judging in the men's open division, the Arnold Classic, the posing round, which I have to believe is going to be a tremendous advantage for you, since you have the best routine usually on stage. Obviously, Kai Green will be in the lineup. He always is entertaining as well. Do you feel that rule change had something to do with what Arnold said about you?
I really don't know, but what's more concerning is Kai Green, I think, is the best poser in the world. So now you're gonna add points for the posing round, and he's doing it. So it don't even matter, because he's gonna win that shit anyway. That's kind of how I look at it. But I will tell you this, the way my mindset is right now, and everything that I just said from the previous question, none of that way of thinking came into play until I realized, people told me that stuff that Arnold said about me, because then I realized, shit, it don't matter what place I get. The man that made me even want to have muscles to begin with appreciates my physique, and he says I look good. So you know what? That's good enough for me. And then all of the people that follow, from that point forward, because I think, Arnold's saying it. Arnold's saying no more than what, you and Chris been saying this whole time, but him saying is somebody with so much power and recognition. That kind of raises the awareness and stuff, which can be a double-edged sword, because in one hand, you could say, wow, Arnold supports you and he wants bodybuilding to change, and, it's all because of you and blah, blah, blah. That could be a good thing. But then then, when him, criticizing the judges because of me also, that might make the judges hate me because of that, So, I kind of look at it like, oh shit, now the judges are gonna hate me because they're being criticized because of a placing I got, but what I hold on to, all the way from last year was, hey man, Arnold like me, so whatever, you can say I don't have this or I don't have that. I'm full of weaknesses, just like everybody else, but Arnold likes what I have, and that makes me feel like I'm a champion, just alone.
When you hit that twisting pose on the ground like Arnold did, and you kind of looked up to the Arnold statue above you, it was a great moment. I know Johnny captured on video. We saw it in the intro. It was terrific. I loved watching that. Let's talk a little bit about something that you overcame, because a lot of people don't realize this. I didn't even know this. A couple weeks before the Sacramento, or the Golden State Pro, I guess they called it last year, where you won and you got the Olympic qualification, you tore your bicep. And a lot of people have been, basically been talking about this and online that your bicep looked a little weird or whatever. But no one knew this. I didn't know this. You tore your bicep and you had surgery like the next day, and you competed 2 weeks later. Is that true?
Yes. So it's like this. I can't remember the exact date, but I tore my bicep on a Tuesday. Matter of fact, I tore my bicep on a Monday. I went and had surgery on Thursday, and Friday I flew out the guest pose in Louisiana at Louisiana State Show. This was, I think you posted this video. It was me. It was an American flag in the background, and I had on my zebra costume. I covered up my arm because I still had stitches and it was purple. But I told the doctor, I said, look, as long as I can bend my arm and raise my arm, I got to go do this. I didn't want to back out of the date. I didn't want to back out of shows. Just if I can make it, I try to make it. So I made the guest pose, and it was hell. But I was able to bend my arm, and it was swollen too, so it looked like I was flexing, even though I wasn't. But then, of course, like I said, like you said, 4 weeks later, then we had to go to Golden State, and then right after that, Atlantic City. And I was able to start, doing some reps with that bicep, maybe like 20 reps, a few sets of that, about 3 weeks after the surgery. So probably 10 days before the show, try to get some blood into it. I remember when I got the surgery done on Thursday night, I was in the gym doing shoulders, Of course, I had to work around it and do things. Sometimes I would have to have people help me put plates on equipment and stuff like that. But I was determined I'm not wearing the sling, because I know the sling is going to limit my mobility, and it's going to make that ligament tighten up to where I can't extend my arm. So I didn't do that, and I just wasn't going to stop, because of course I was 4 weeks out from the show. So sometimes, when people talk about your determination and all that stuff, they say, oh, well, Cedric, he lost again. He's not living up to his potential. He's not determined. He's not focused, blah, blah, blah. I think about times like that. I don't say shit, of course, because I wasn't one of those guys taking pictures of my arm, posting it on the internet like, oh, look what happened to me, and, and all that stuff, man, because I'm a grown ass man about mine, so I just do what I got to do, and I go to work, regardless of what these people want to try to say,
And that's a very, very mature attitude. Most people want to get as much mileage out of an injury as possible, saying, hey, look what I did, and make 1,000,001 excuses. You made no excuses. You didn't even tell anyone. I mean, realistically, you should never have been on that Golden State stage. You should never have been on that Atlantic City stage. You really couldn't train. I mean, you really were risking permanently damaging the bicep and re-tearing it. But, you sucked it up, and, you got a lot of courage points from me on that one. Not that it matters or anything like that, but
hey, well, check it out. Well, look at this though. Because I never had high bicep peaks, right? And that was always my best bicep. It had, even though I didn't have peaks, that was the best one, right? And so now it got repaired, and I think he reattached it a little higher than it was before. So now I got a peak on it. So I'm gonna go to him whenever I got some time off and say, look, rip this other one off. And just make sure you put it in the same spot as the other one, because then I'll have some peaks, man. So, and no bullshit, I'm going to try to do that. And if he don't do it, I'm going to try to rip it myself.
Talk to Branch Warren. Branch Warren could show you how to tear it. I believe he tore both biceps already.
Yeah, but you rip it, you might rip it the wrong way like
That's
that. I'm
true.
not gonna fuck around. It's gonna be a calculated tear. Yeah.
Well, Cedric, I know you're very busy, and I know you got a lot to
Yeah.
do before the Arnold Classic this upcoming week.
Yeah.
How does it feel knowing you're going to be stepping on stage next to Kai Green and Justin Compton and a real good lineup? Would it be a dream of yours to defeat Kai Green on that Arnold stage?
Well, it's never a dream of mine to defeat anybody, man. Honestly, all I think about is getting up there and hitting my shots and looking good. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I focus on. Uh, it's been a really long ride for me, and here's the trend. Here's what always happens. People start to love you, and then you get more people that start to hate you because you got love. So because so many people can say, oh, he has such a great physique, then you have so many other people saying, man, he really ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, right? And then with the internet now, see, and listen, I'm boycotting social media. I don't post shit. I get in trouble with work. I get mean emails. But this generation right now, if you think about it, Dave, when I was looking at you guys in the magazine, back in the day, all I had was I gotta wait 30 days for that magazine to come. And that's as close as I can get to seeing what Dave is up to, seeing what Chris is up to, and all those guys. But that little bit of access that I had, that magazine, I appreciated it, right? Well, see, now you got social media, and basically I can, for the most part, send you a text message because I'm sending you a message, and if you don't respond to me, I can bash you on the internet, So the people now, this generation, have so much access to athletes or people, even if it's movie stars and stuff like that. The access is so easy that they lose appreciation, and take it for granted, right? And so now it becomes so easy to, I can look at Cedric all day, and then I can start talking shit about him if I want to. I can, when really, if all I seen was 3 pictures in a magazine once a month, I couldn't do nothing but love Cedric. But now I can look at Cedric eating his food. I can look at Cedric in the gym. I can look at Cedric take a selfie. I can, all this bullshit, right? So you overexpose yourself, and now appreciation is lost. And with this generation, you got to admit that this generation, they hate being criticized so much, but they are very critical of other people. You know what I'm saying? They hate being judged, but they are very judgmental, So, and that's the kind of stuff that comes along. And then when you have social media too, it only magnifies it, So what I try to do is stay clear of all of that bullshit and just stay focused to what my mission is. And what my mission is to keep the awareness of an era in bodybuilding that I fell in love with, and I'm to try to represent that. When I started competing, I wanted to build my body and develop, a certain proportions with my physique, and I have it, and I'm trying to maintain that, and basically, like I said, just represent a part of bodybuilding that I love. And no matter who I compete against, if I can get up there and do my thing, hit my shots, then I'm happy. And if you get a win along the way, that's cool too. But hey, if Arnold like me, I don't give a fuck if I win or not. You know what I'm saying?
We're looking at you posing on stage from this past weekend. You looked amazing, Cedric. Obviously, it was a tremendous win for you. Let's put a final note in there. CEDRIC Nutrition, obviously, a very instrumental sponsor in your corner. They've supported you the last couple of years. They believe in you. I know they speak very highly of you. Obviously, they're sponsoring all our coverage of the Arnold Classic. How important it is to have a sponsor that does believe in you, even maybe when the rest of the industry doesn't?
Well, one thing I will tell you, I competed without a sponsor for a while. I've had sponsors that kind of treat you like shit and throw you away, and then I've not had a sponsor, full-time Army, and saving up my tax return money to be able to sponsor myself. But what I will say is some people, depending on their personality, they don't give a shit if a sponsor believes in them or not. They just want that money. But for me, I bodybuild, I'm doing bodybuilding with my heart and my passion, and I have love for it. And so it's not about the money for me. It's about the emotion behind it. So having, a company that actually believes in me and they care about me, whether I win or lose, they believe in what I am and what I represent. That means everything to me, so I'm very proud of that. But like I said, some people, they just care about their bottom line. They just want that money, but I know for the type of person that I am, having a company, that believes in me means everything. Because listen, I was working 14 hours a day. I was sleeping 2 or 3 hours a day. I was falling asleep on the gym floor. I was doing cardio, during the breaks at work and stuff like that, trying to get it in, man. And with this company, I was finally able to back up from the Army and put some more focus into bodybuilding. And I think that's helped me tremendously now, because I'm not killing myself, trying to do it all. So for me, it has meant everything, and when I win, like this past weekend, that big ass Kevin Levrone trophy, I was like, man, that would be nice, but to have on display. But nobody's ever seen my house, of course, but I have no trophies at home. I have no medals at home, no pictures of myself from bodybuilding, nowhere. I don't display anything about bodybuilding at my house, because for me, I just want to be daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I want to be, everything that I am other than bodybuilding to my kids. I don't want them, rest in peace, Cedric, the bodybuilder, and that be it. I don't want that bullshit, because I'm so much more than that. But anyway, after I won the Kevin Levrone show, my boss said, he flew over to watch me compete. I signed the trophy and I gave it to him, signed it over to the family, the SciTech family, and said, thank y'all for supporting my dreams. So he'll take that trophy, display it at his office, and then it'll go to the SciTech office and it'll be displayed there along with some other trophies that I won. And that, for me, it makes me happy, because I feel like I'm able to share everything that I'm accomplishing with them, So that's how I like to do it.
Very wise words from a very wise man. And Cedric, we're all going to be rooting for you this coming weekend up at the Arnold Classic. A win here obviously would be a tremendous feather in your cap, and not to use the term you don't like, it would be a lot of momentum. But Ced,
you always got to trust to force some comedy in these interviews. Right. See, that's why I don't like doing these interviews, because you want to try to make people be funny. And see, now I want to talk shit to you because you corny, but then that's going to make some comedy, and then you're going to get high ratings from my interviews, because they're like, oh, Cedric is so funny. But today I'm not going to be funny, because I don't want you to get any ratings from this interview, because I don't even want to do it, but you made me do it. You used to try to make me do interviews through Chris, but that shit didn't work. So then you backdoored me, and now you got this little SciTech sponsorship. So now my boss is like, hey, Cedric, we need you to do this interview with Dave Palumbo. And I'm like, and so now if I don't do it, then now my boss is mad at me. So then I got to do it. And then I'm like, fucking Dave Palumbo. Man. You know what I'm saying? You got me, motherfucker.
I always seem to get you, don't I? I always got that.
You got me, motherfucker.
I got the back door on you all the time.
In my next contract, we're going to have a clause that say I do not have to do no fucking videos with plastic face Dave Palumbo.
I love you, Cedric, too. We'll see you in Ohio.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, thank you, guys. Cedric McMillan. I'm down here in South Carolina at my new home gym. Thank you, guys, for having me, and I'll see y'all in Ohio.
All right. That'll take us to the end of another episode of Live with RX Muscles Iron Road to the Arnold Classic, brought to you by SciTech Nutrition. Visit SciTechNutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.